If you've been watching Disney movies since you were a kid, then you've probably noticed a theme. Stay tuned for the crazy reasons that most Disney princesses don't have a mom. Are you new around here? Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to The Things for more great content like this. Now, onto the sad reason why all Disney princesses don't have a mom.
Do you have daddy issues?
I don't even have a mom.
Neither do we!
We can probably all remember curling up in front of the television to watch a Disney movie as a kid. The tales of princesses and princes, good and evil, dragons and knights were all that we saw. When watching these films, most of us focused on the good parts. Every princess in each movie got a happy ending, so it was easy to forget the parts of their lives that weren't so pretty. Like the fact that Cinderella was basically a slave for the majority of her life. Seriously. She lived in an attic and couldn't come out and see the sun unless she was working for one of her stepsisters or stepmom. The girl had it rough. Snow White's life wasn't a walk in the park either. Her stepmom literally tried to get rid of her. She had to run away and live in a cottage with 7 men to stay alive. That doesn't sound too great, does it? Despite all getting happy endings, there is one other thing that binds all of these Disney princesses together, and it's much darker than finding a prince and living happily ever after. The majority of Disney princesses don't have mothers. Think about it. Ariel, no mom. Snow White, no mom. Cinderella, no mom. Jasmine, Pocahontas, Tiana, all of them don't have biological moms. Have you ever thought about this? Could the reason be simply a coincidence? Is something still a coincidence when it happens almost every time? Well, there are a lot of theories out there that suggest that there is a pretty messed up reason as to why most of these princesses don't have moms. The first has to do with Walt Disney's relationship with his own mom. What happened to his mother was actually pretty tragic. In the 1940s, Walt Disney bought a house for his parents. He had obviously come into some money and wanted to share the wealth with his parents. When they moved in, the furnace was on the fritz. Walt had some people from his studio go to the house and fix the furnace. Unfortunately, the furnace continued to leak. When the housekeeper came in one morning, she had to pull his mother and father out of the home. Walt's mother passed away from this incident, and his father ended up in the hospital. Everyone who knew Walt around this time said that he never spoke about what happened to his parents. He completely felt responsible, even though it wasn't necessarily his fault. He had tried to do something nice for his parents, and unfortunately, it didn't turn out well. The studio workers who went to the house to fix the furnace weren't trained on how to do it, and didn't know what they were doing. Many people say that Walt was haunted by the incident. Because of this, it may have been too painful for him to include mothers in his movies, or to focus on mother-child relationships at all. Instead, he preferred to completely keep mothers out of his film. Another theory focuses on how Disney movies tend to be coming-of-age stories. We follow most of the princesses as they grow up and come into their own.
Why, Eric, run away with you? This is also...
This theory says that a child is never an adult until they assume the role that their parents would normally take. By not giving the characters mother figures, Walt set them to grow up right before our eyes. This theory is a lot less bleak than the first one, so we won't blame you if this is the one that you want to believe. This theme has been showcased in lots of movies and shows even outside of the Disney world. From Harry Potter to Game of Thrones, this idea is one that is quite popular. Our next theory is also much lighter than the first two. Another common thread between all of the Disney princesses is that they make mistakes. They stumble and fall through most of the beginning of their stories in order to have a triumphant victory by the end. Without their initial mistakes, there would hardly be any story to tell. Well, some people believe that if Walt had given each of these girls mothers, they wouldn't have made half as many mistakes as they did. Think about it. When you're headed down the wrong path and about to make a huge error, who's the one that usually puts you back on track? Your mom, right? Moms have a weird sixth sense about these things. So if a mom had been there to tell Ariel not to trade her voice and soul to an evil witch just to hang out with a boy, there wouldn't have been a film. If Cinderella's mom had been there, then there would not have been an evil stepmother in her life and no reason for her to go to the ball. If Snow White's mother had been around, she never would have had to flee the castle and never would have met those 7 dwarfs. Basically, the mothers would have ruined the stories. There just wasn't a place for them to fit in. Now, there are a few exceptions to this rule: Merida and Rapunzel. Merida's relationship with her mother is kind of the center of Brave. Rapunzel's relationship with her stepmother is also the center of Tangled. But each of these relationships isn't exactly healthy. In Brave, Merida's mom wants her to be something other than what she is. Her mom spends the whole first portion of the movie trying to force Merida to change.
Everything we never had.
I ask you, what do you expect us to do?
Sure, the two do mend their relationship throughout the film, but we can definitely tell that Merida and her mom were at odds for most of her life. The relationship between Rapunzel and her mom is even weirder. First of all, the lady in the film is not actually Rapunzel's mom at all, but actually a witch who pretty much kidnaps Rapunzel when she's a baby. She then hides Rapunzel in a tower where she obsesses over her and tells her how great she is, but doesn't let her leave. It's a really sick relationship. So even the princesses who do have mothers don't have the best relationships with them, which makes it extremely clear that something was up with Walt and his ideas of motherhood. We wonder if the new generation of Disney movies and princesses will keep up this theme, or if modern times will force Disney to start adding mothers into the films. What do you think? And that's it for the sad reason why all Disney princesses don't have a mom. Which theory do you believe? Let us know in the comments below. See you next time.